FDA has given tentative approval toward helping women who feel that they are not active sexually, that their sex desire is low, and flibanserin is said to help stimulate that desire. However, there are concerns about both nausea and fainting. Interesting to me that more than a year ago, the Washington Post published a story that said couples who share housework have the most sex and the best sex lives. It turns out, using recent data, that couples who split the housework fairly are the happiest between the sheets. They have the most sex, are the most satisfied with their sex lives, and express the highest level of sexual intimacy. We have an email from Washington, D.C., from Judy, who says Viagra and similar male pills address a physical inability to get or maintain an erection. That to me is very different from increasing one's desire. Does the female pill increase feelings, or does it correct a physical disorder? Or is desire being used to describe something physical? Dr. Jennifer Berman.
That's a very, very, very good question, and a profound question at that. And that in that lies the root of all the challenge that the FDA and physicians and all of us are having in terms of objectifying and quantifying a subjective feeling. What desire is a individualized feeling or emotion linked to a thought. And that is, and we're trying to quantify that in a lab. So that is part of the challenge, and we've developed validated instruments and questionnaires and diaries and retrospective diaries and daily diaries and indices and distress scales to try and measure that. But therein lies the challenge, and that's why it's cost time and effort and a huge amount of money to get to that point.
So today, Dr. Berman, in the absence of flibanserin, what are you able to do for your patients?
I'll tell you that, but I do want to make one comment about the pharmaceutical companies allegedly developing this disease. That's not necessarily true, because I was on the consensus panel in 1998 where a group of physicians passionate about this field sat in a room for hours, if not days, developing the criteria for female sexual function complaints, HSDD being one of 7. So it wasn't the pharmaceutical companies that created it. It was doctors out of a need who saw this in their patients, who believe that sexual function complaints are not all in women's heads. It's not all because they're stressed or crazy or don't like their husbands. There are real medical, physical reasons why women experience these complaints. In terms of what we have available now, there is nothing that's FDA approved for low libido at this time. However, in my patients, the reasons why women experience low desire, assuming that they're not emotional or relational issues, history of sexual abuse or trauma or whatever, they're medications that patients take, hormonal imbalances, changes in fluctuating hormone levels, prior pelvic surgery or removal of the ovaries. But I want to say, in this group, what's challenging to me about this very, very select group of women, and I've been doing this for 20 years, and I know those women tend to be very self-critical, less resilient. They don't bounce back quickly. They're worriers. They're anxious. So the low libido is the tip of the iceberg in this group of women.
Dr. Berman, I know you want to make a comment about that meeting.
Yeah, the meeting that Dr. Berman refers to is actually an industry-funded meeting with people who are taking money from the industry. And in fact, marketing for a drug starts 7 to 10 years before a drug comes on the market, because